You will hear this story for the first time only in this video. Do not forget to write your comments about the story. Have a good listen. Tara was an ordinary young woman, living in the quaint suburban neighborhood of Willowbrook. Nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, the town exuded an idyllic charm that belied the darkness lurking beneath its picturesque facade. With her chestnut hair cascading in gentle waves and her hazel eyes reflecting the warmth of her soul, Tara appeared to be the epitome of serenity and grace. Yet, unbeknownst to those around her, she harbored a secret, a chilling truth that would soon unravel the fabric of her reality. It began innocently enough, with fleeting glimpses of movement in the corner of her eye, and inexplicable chills that raced down her spine. At first, Tara brushed off these odd occurrences as tricks of the mind, remnants of a restless imagination seeking refuge in the mundane routines of everyday life. But as the days stretched into nights, the whispers of unease grew louder, more insistent, until they could no longer be ignored. Nightfall became a harbinger of terror for Tara, a time when the veil between the seen and the unseen grew thin, allowing malevolent forces to seep into her world. In the darkness, she found herself besieged by visions of horror, faces contorted in agony, spectral figures shrouded in darkness, voices that echoed with the anguish of the damned. Each night became a battle for sanity, as Tara fought to distinguish between reality and the twisted phantoms that plagued her dreams. Desperate for solace, Tara turned to her best friend Scarlet, hoping to find refuge in the comfort of companionship. But to her dismay, Scarlet dismissed her fears as mere figments of an overactive imagination, offering hollow reassurances that did little to assuage Tara's mounting terror. "You're just stressed, Tara," Scarlet would say, her voice tinged with sympathy but devoid of understanding. "You need to relax and get some sleep." But Tara knew better. These were no ordinary nightmares. They were manifestations of something far more sinister, something that defied rational explanation. And as the nights wore on, the boundary between dream and reality began to blur, until Tara could no longer discern where one ended and the other began. Her family, too, remained oblivious to the horrors that lurked in the shadows, attributing Tara's distress to the pressures of work and the strains of everyday life. They offered words of encouragement and support, urging her to seek professional help if the nightmares persisted. But Tara knew that no therapist could exorcise the demons that haunted her soul, for they were not of this world. They were creatures of the night, born from the darkest recesses of her subconscious mind. Alone in her room one fateful night, Tara felt the familiar tendrils of fear wrapping themselves around her heart, squeezing tighter with each passing moment. She could sense a presence lurking in the shadows, watching, waiting, hungering for her fear. With trembling hands, she reached for her phone, dialing Scarlet's number in a desperate bid for comfort. But as the call connected, Tara's blood turned to ice in her veins. Scarlet's voice, usually so warm and comforting, was distorted, twisted into a grotesque parody of itself. "You can't escape me, Tara," it hissed, sending shivers down her spine. "I am everywhere and nowhere. I am the darkness that lurks within your soul." With a strangled cry of terror, Tara dropped the phone as if it had burned her, the sound of Scarlet's mocking laughter echoing in her ears. Frantic and disoriented, she stumbled out into the night, the world around her warped and twisted by unseen forces. Everywhere she turned, she saw glimpses of the horror that pursued her. A faceless specter lurking in the shadows, eyes filled with malice and hunger. Driven to the brink of madness, Tara sought refuge in the only place she felt safe, the abandoned house at the edge of town, its crumbling facade a testament to the passage of time. But as she stepped across the threshold, she realized her mistake. The house was not empty. It was alive with the same malevolent force that had been haunting her, its walls pulsating with a dark energy that sent shivers down her spine. Every creak of the floorboards, every whisper of the wind seemed to taunt her, mocking her futile attempts to escape. And then, in the darkness, Tara saw it, the source of her torment, the embodiment of her nightmares. A figure stood before her, cloaked in shadows, its eyes burning with a malevolent light that pierced the darkness. "You belong to me now, Tara," it whispered, its voice a chilling echo in the silence. "You are mine, body and soul." But Tara refused to surrender. With a primal scream of defiance, she lashed out, fighting against the darkness that sought to consume her. For what felt like an eternity, she battled against the unseen force, driven by sheer determination and the will to survive. And then, in a blinding flash of light, it was over. The darkness receded, banished by Tara's courage and resilience. Gasping for breath, she collapsed to the ground, the weight of her ordeal finally lifting from her shoulders. As dawn broke on the horizon, Tara emerged from the abandoned house, battered but victorious. The horrors that had plagued her were gone, vanquished by her indomitable spirit. And though scars remained, both seen and unseen, Tara knew that she was stronger for having faced the darkness head on. With newfound resolve, she set out to reclaim her life, determined to leave the nightmares of the past behind her. And though the memory of that fateful night would linger in her mind forevermore, Tara refused to be defined by fear, for she had stared into the abyss and emerged unbroken, a survivor in a world haunted by shadows. To hear more suspenseful and chilling stories like this one, please consider supporting my channel by subscribing and liking the video. Your support means a lot to me. Thank you!